You probably have a password you use everywhere. Maybe you've tweaked it slightly for different sites. Maybe you've added a number at the end. Maybe you think it's strong because it has a capital letter and a symbol. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you know this isn't ideal, but it works. And nothing bad has happened yet. That's exactly what makes this so dangerous. There's a tool that security experts have been recommending for years. It solves the password problem completely, and most people still don't use it because they don't trust it. They've heard things, they have questions. They're not sure if putting all their passwords in one place is actually smart, or just a different kind of risky. The truth about password managers is more complicated than most people realize, and by the end of this, you'll know exactly what they do, how they actually work, and whether you should be using one. Let's start with the problem they're designed to solve. The average person has around 100 online accounts. That number has been climbing for years, and every one of those accounts has a password. Security researchers at Virginia Tech published a study in 2022 analyzing tens of millions of leaked credentials, and they found something that should make you uncomfortable. More than half of people reuse the same password across multiple sites. Not a similar password, the exact same one. Here's why that matters so much. Every few months, a major company gets breached, a database gets leaked, millions of usernames and passwords end up for sale on the dark web. This happens constantly. You've probably been in one of these breaches without even knowing it. And when your email address and password from one site end up in that database, attackers don't just try to log into that site. They try that same combination on every major platform they can think of. Your email, your bank, your Amazon account. This technique is called credential stuffing, and it works because of password reuse. Troy Hunt is a security researcher who built a website called Have I Been Pwned? It tracks data breaches and lets you check whether your email address has been exposed. As of 2024, the database contains over 12 billion breached accounts. 12 billion. That's not a fringe issue. That's the default state of the internet. So what does a password manager actually do? It generates a unique, random password for every single account you have. Not a word with some numbers at the end, a string of letters, numbers, and symbols that looks something like this. Capital K, X, 7, dollar sign, lowercase m, capital Q, lowercase p, capital L, hashtag 2, lowercase r, capital N, lowercase v, capital B, lowercase w, 9. Nobody is going to guess that. No automated tool is going to brute force it in any reasonable amount of time. And because it's different for every account, a breach at one site does nothing to your other accounts. Then it stores all of those passwords in an encrypted vault. When you need to log into something, the manager fills it in for you automatically. You don't need to remember anything except one password, the master password you use to unlock the vault itself. That's the part that makes people nervous, and it's a fair concern. What if someone gets into the vault? What if the password manager company itself gets hacked? Isn't this just putting all of your eggs in one basket? These are the right questions to ask. Let's go through them honestly. In 2022, LastPass, one of the most widely used password managers in the world, was breached. Attackers got access to encrypted password vaults belonging to millions of users. This made headlines everywhere. It felt like proof that password managers were dangerous. But here's what actually happened, and why the outcome was far less catastrophic than it sounds. The vaults were encrypted. Attackers got the encrypted files, but not the master passwords it needed to decrypt them. The encryption algorithm LastPass uses is AES 256, which is the same standard used by governments and militaries around the world. Without the master password, those files are essentially useless. The risk came from users who had weak master passwords, or who had stored other sensitive information in notes inside the vault. This is the key insight. A password manager doesn't eliminate risk, it concentrates it on one thing: your master password. If your master password is strong and unique, something you've never used anywhere else, and don't store digitally, your vault is extraordinarily difficult to crack, even if the company storing it is breached. Compare that to the alternative. If you reuse passwords across accounts, every single breach involving any of those sites is a direct threat to every other account you have. The risk isn't concentrated, it's spread everywhere, and you have no visibility into it. Lori Faith Craner is a computer science professor at Carnegie Mellon University who has spent decades studying how people actually behave with passwords. Her research consistently shows that the mental load of managing dozens of unique passwords without a tool leads people to make predictable, exploitable decisions. Shorter passwords, familiar words, incremental changes to the same base password. These patterns are well known to attackers, and they're built into the tools they use. A password manager removes that mental load entirely. You're not trying to remember anymore, you're just unlocking. So, which one should you use? There are several strong options. Bitwarden is open source, meaning it's code that has been reviewed by independent security researchers, and it has a generous free tier. 1Password is widely considered one of the most polished options with strong security practices. Both offer browser extensions that can handle autofill automatically and apps for your phone so your passwords are available everywhere. What you want to avoid is storing passwords in your browser. Chrome's built-in password saving, Safari's keychain, or similar features. These are convenient, but they're tied to your browser account. They sync across devices in ways that can expose you, and they don't offer the same level of encryption or security architecture as a dedicated password manager. Once you've chosen one, the setup is simpler than you might expect. You install the app, create your account with a strong master password, something long, random, and memorable only to you, and then start importing or adding your existing passwords. Most managers have an import feature that can pull passwords from your browser automatically. From that point, every time you create a new account anywhere, the manager generates a unique password and saves it. You never have to think about it. There's one more thing worth knowing about the master password itself. It needs to be something you can remember, but something no one else can guess. Security researchers at the Electronic Frontier Foundation recommend using a passphrase, 4 or 5 random words strung together, like correct, horse, battery, staple. That phrase is easy to remember, but the randomness of the word combination makes it extremely difficult to crack. The key word there is random. Don't use words that relate to your life, your family, or anything else someone could find on your social media. And enable two-factor authentication on the password manager itself. That way, even if someone somehow got your master password, they would still need physical access to your phone or authentication device to get in. Here's where this lands. Password managers are not perfect. Nothing in security is. They are a single point of failure in the sense that your master password matters enormously. But they are a dramatically better option than what most people are doing right now, reusing the same passwords across dozens of accounts and hoping nothing bad happens. You already trusted a lock on your front door with everything inside your home. A password manager is the same concept. One strong point of control, protecting everything behind it, built by people whose entire job is making sure it holds. You've been using the internet for years with a set of passwords that were never really protecting you. That changes the moment you set one of these up. It takes about 20 minutes, and after that, the mental load of remembering passwords disappears because the manager handles it every time for every account you have. The truth about password managers isn't that they're risky. The truth is that not using one is riskier than most people want to admit.